Hello everybody, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. It's about that time. Let's go take that walk and see what's in the fridge today. Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by Greg's Beer Reviews today. Since we had such a wonderful beer yesterday, I had another Prairie beer in the fridge. I said, let's do this one. We did two Prairie beers back to back. I can't get them here, guys. They're out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. I hope one day that they will be available here. And some of them are available in North Carolina, but they're not available here in Virginia. So hopefully they'll come up just a little bit further north and we'll be able to get them before too long. This was sent to me by Mitch. So Mitch, thanks again, brother, for sending me those beers. This is their Okie, O-K-I-E, which is, according to the bottle here, it says Imperial Brown Ale aged in oak whiskey barrels. 12% alcohol on this one. This is a big one, guys. This is a sipper, not a chugger. It's in a little small bottle here, and pretty sure this is 12%. It's probably a pricey beer. I wouldn't hesitate to say this is probably a $9 or $10 beer, if not more. And it's a 12-ouncer. So, Mitch, you may put some comments in there what this bottle costs, but I would assume that it's, a lot of people tell me on a lot of beers, oh, it's not that expensive here, and a lot of them say, oh, I paid more than that for it here. So, the beer distribution will add cost to those beers. If you're in Tulsa, Oklahoma area, you're going to pay less than somebody in North Carolina or California for the beer, more than likely, because of the distribution costs. So, let's get on with this one. Commercial description says Okie is an imperial brown aged in whiskey barrels. Notes of toffee and brown sugar are infused with sweet notes of bourbon, vanilla, oak, and molasses. Food pairings for this style of beer, guys. This cuisine is barbecue. Cheeses are earthy Camembert Fontina. Your nutty cheeses, Asiago Colby, Parmesan, and since it is a dark beer, which is your stouts and porters, and this is a brown ale, so it's a darker beer, but a lot of times you can't tell by that until you pour it into the glass how dark the beer actually is going to be. Sometimes they're a light brown, red, ruby color, and sometimes they're a little darker with some slight hints of some ruby tinges around it, and other times they're pitch black like a stout would be. So we're going to find out here in just a second what this one looks like coming out of the bottle. Meat for this is beef. The glass-barred pint, Bacaronic tumbler mug, Stein Seidel, and I guess as y'all can see here, I got my favorite beer glass here, the solid beer glass. It says here not recommended for extended cellarings unless ABV exceeds the average range, and it does. It's 12%. I would think this beer would keep for many, many moons, probably 5 or 10 or even 15 years. I can't think of anything. It doesn't say anything about hop forward or anything that would deter you from keeping this beer. And it does have a date on it here, but it's sweating profusely. So when we come back for the final chug, I'll read that date code on there. It's more likely, just like the one we did yesterday, is going to have a day and then the year after that. So whether it's the 150th, 190th, 250th day of the year, it'll have that written on the bottom of the date code here. So we'll see in just a little bit when I come back with the final chug what this one actually is. But like I said, I can't think of a reason why you could not sell this beer for a long, long, long time being 12%. Imperial brown ale. So it's already been aged in whiskey barrels. So can't think of a reason why you can't age it by. There ain't no reason as far as I know. I don't think there's anything else we need to talk about. We've done the food pairings and the commercial description. I don't have the ABV, the IBUs listed here. The ABV is 12. So Let's get the cap off of this one. And yesterday got a nice hiss and a rather serious carbonation out of that one. Let's see what this one brings. And not quite the hiss we had yesterday, but it did have a hiss. That tells me it's not flat anyway. It's kept its carbonation. And 12%. Let's see if we can generate a head down the center. Right down the center, guys, and hardly any at all. It's just barely covering the top of the beer. So, and it looks pretty dark. I mean, it's not pitch black. It's more like a rusty brown. Now, down through the thin part of the glass here, I am getting some light through there, and it does look like it's a, it is a brown color. I can't see any through the big bulb part of this glass, but down through the thin part of the glass, I do see some light and some. I don't want to call it red ruby, but it is a deep copper tone color down here. So let's get a nose on this one. Definitely getting the whiskey. You can definitely tell that's been in whiskey barrels. Got a sweet smell on the back end, maybe some molasses or brown sugar in there. Rich roasted malt. And whiskey. Did I say whiskey? I think I did. I'm definitely getting the whiskey. Smells pretty good. Let's give it a taste. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Mitch. Thank you, sir. Some bourbon-esque qualities. I don't know what type of barrels. It says whiskey. I don't know whether they're bourbon whiskey barrels, or exactly what type of barrels they use, but very nice. Definitely a sipper here, guys. 12%. Slight hint of some cocoa in there, some dark fruit. Very sweet on the back end. Almost to the barley wine-esque sweetness. Wow, that is very nice, guys. That is just as tasty as yesterday's beer. Those guys out there at Prairie know how to brew some beers. And as y'all seen when I do the fridge intros, I do have another Prairie Bomb in there, and I reviewed that beer last year, I think, guys. Not long ago. So I'm not really sure if I'm going to do that one, and if I do, I'm going to cellar it for a little while before I do the review. I'll look it up and see how long ago it was. I really don't like to review the same beer within the same year unless something has changed in the beer. They're using a different recipe or different hops or something different in the beer. Other than the Stone Enjoy by, I enjoy doing every one of those I can get my hands on, because sometimes they are just a tad different, but they're always awesome. And that's probably one of my favorite double IPAs. So now that they're building a brewery in Richmond, I'm really looking forward for that to open and us getting a lot of the beers that are only available in California, or even some of the Enjoy By series. This last one wasn't available in Virginia. It was California release only. So hopefully once the brewery opens up, we'll be able to get some of those beers that, unless you're in California, you don't get to taste, or somebody has to send them to you. So looking forward to that. So, well, it's right out of the fridge, 40 degrees. Let's take it back and do the drill. Let her have it tasted. I know what she's going to do. I'm going to give it to her. She's going to taste it. She's going to go, "You don't want any more of this, do you?" That's what she always does when she tastes something like this that she really likes. I go, "Give me that glass." Alright, guys, I'll be right back. We'll do the final chug. Alright, guys, I'm back. Got just a little left here. Been sipping on it probably about 35-40 minutes or so. Fired up a punch bare knuckle cigar to go along with this. It was very tasty together. A little bit of lacing left on the glass. Not an awesome amount, but very tasty beer indeed. I'm a sucker for these barrel-aged versions of these beers. I love that whiskey bourbon taste to go along with these beers. It is very, very nice. And at 12%, very well made. Of course, with the aroma and the taste, you can tell that it's been in some kind of whiskey or bourbon barrel. But it is so well made, you could seriously get into trouble if you're drinking this out of the bar and didn't know it was a 12%. Because with this one and a lot of other ones, you can't tell how big the beer is by tasting it. You get those influences from the bourbon or whiskey barrels, but you can't tell if it's an 8, 9, 10% or 12% or even bigger a lot of times. So just be careful if you're drinking this out in a pub or a bar somewhere, because hopefully you'll have a ride home and not trying to drive after drinking a couple of these anyway. If you're just only having one beer and this is it and you're done, you might get lucky and get through it. But if you go through a road check somewhere, a license check or a DUI checkpoint or something, they're gonna smell it whether you can or not. And they have those sniffers on those flashlights, and they, you know, they know guys. They can tell. And the first thing I ask you, if you've been drinking tonight, if you say anything other than no, you're going to be out doing and walking the line and blowing in the little meter and stuff. Just be careful out there if you're not drinking it at home, because it is a big beer, 12%. It's a very tasty beer, I may add, on top of that. Let's do the final chug here. Wonderful aroma. The whiskey is there. Very sweet. I'm getting brown sugar, some caramel in there, some dark fruit, hints of tobacco. Very nice. Very, very nice. I just love that smell. Of course, I don't drink liquor anymore, so I have to get all of my whiskey-esque taste from bourbon barrel or whiskey barrel or rum barrel or whatever barrel age. Even if it's just a plain oak barrel, you'll get some vanilla notes a lot of times from those, and some woody aspects and stuff from those barrels. So, final chug. Oh, that's so good. That is nice. That's definitely an A beer, guys. To me, anyway, just my 2 cents. You may find it repulsive. Oh, I didn't like it at all. Then again, you may say, oh, that's a 10 beer. It's awesome. And I wouldn't argue with either one of those essays, because beer tastes are subjective. If your palate's not up to what this beer brings to the table, it may overwhelm your palate, and you'll say, oh, man, that was nasty. If I was to try this, if I would have tried to drink this beer 10 years ago, it would have blown my palate out of my mouth, and I would probably not been very fond of it. But as of right now, I think it is awesome, guys. It's definitely an A beer. I did look at the bottle, and they do have the writing on there, but it is so faint and so small, I have to put my Santa Claus glasses on to see it. And it says it's 152, it looks like, out of 2015. So the 152nd day of 2015. Just to throw that number off the top of the head there, 152nd, and there's 365 days in a year typically. So it was probably done in May, June-esque, somewhere in that. And being a 12%er, it's going to keep for a long, long, long time. It's not a hop forward beer. It's an Imperial brown ale. It's going to keep for a long time. So they made the attempt. As far as I'm concerned, guys, it's 9 out of 10. It is a great beer. Definitely one to pick up if you can get your hands on it. If your palate is up to this style of beer, and mine is, and I loved it. If you say, oh man, that's a 10 beer, best brown ale I've ever had, would not argue with that at all. If I was putting a numeric rating on this beer, guys, it would probably be a 97 or a 98. It's pretty damn tasty. I don't think I've had a bad beer from these guys at Prairie. Kind of wish they was in Virginia. You would see more of them in the fridge. Over to Beer Advocate, they say 90 in the outstanding range. It is an outstanding beer. And over to Rate Beer says 98 overall and 96 in the style. So there's 90s all around here for this beer. And it is a 90s beer. It is a world-class beer. It is an outstanding beer. It's definitely one to... and you can drink this beer with a nice, heavy, hearty dish. Some kind of steak or chops or anything off the grill. I don't think it would pair well with something like... You wouldn't want to drink this for breakfast or with your cereal or your Pop-Tart or anything like that. It's going to overpower all that kind of stuff. Or even after dinner. I mean, after you've had your dinner, whatever it is, and you want to have this as your dessert or an after-dinner aperitif or a digestive, perfect. And like I said, I can't see any reason why you couldn't sell this beer. And more than likely, it's done in a 4-pack, being at 12%. You can buy a 4-pack of these and do one now and do one in a year or 2 or 5 or 10, or do a vertical if you get one fresh this year, and you pick up one a couple years down the road and pour them and see how that it's aged and stuff. It'd be excellent. It'd be most excellent. So I loved it, guys. Mitch, thanks again, brother, for sending it to me. It was an awesome beer. Definitely an A beer as far as I'm concerned. Kicking on the door from being a 10. So with that being said, we got the ratings. If you've had this one from Prairie Artisan Ales, this is their Okie, which is a brown ale aged in whiskey barrels. Let me know what you think. Come on back tomorrow. Maybe we can dig up something just as good out the fridge. We'll take a look. Hope you can join me then. We'll see. See you.